My name is Michael Spilger, and I'm a real estate attorney, and all I do is real estate law. Actually, there's lots of different areas in real estate law. There's land use, there's landlord-tenant, there's commercial leasing. My practice is pretty much buyers and sellers, borrowers and lenders on real estate transactions, sales transactions. The good news is, if you're buying your first home, you really don't need a real estate attorney. You definitely need a real estate broker. You definitely need a good real estate mortgage broker and a real estate agent. And in California, we have escrows that coordinate with the title company, and everything gets coordinated very nicely. The forms that are used have already been pre-drafted by attorneys, mostly through the California Association of Realtors. So you really don't need a real estate attorney unless and when something goes awry, and hopefully it won't. But the things that we get involved in are a deal goes bad and the buyer's got a $30,000 deposit and the seller won't release it. Now you might need an attorney. What's very topical today are short sales when there's not enough money coming in to pay off all the existing loans. The issues become, can the lender go after you for a deficiency if they don't get paid? How do you negotiate with the lender? I get involved in a lot of those. And you probably need some real estate counseling if you're upside down on your house, and what happens tax-wise, what legal recourse is there, what happens credit-wise. And in some cases, the homeowner is better off letting it go to foreclosure. It's very common that a homeowner will have two loans on a property. Let's say a first mortgage of $400,000 and a second mortgage of $100,000. And in today's market, the home value is $350,000. And the borrower can't make the payments. He wants to sell. He wants to move. And then on a short sale, the lender, the house is only worth what a house is worth. So it's worth $350,000. So we're $150,000 short of all the monies that are owed. The first trustee lender and the second trustee lender agree to take less than what is owed them so that the property can be sold and move on, and the lender writes off the shortage. Then the issues become, can they go after the borrower for the shortage? And the good news is, by and large, no. The other alternative would be you let it go to foreclosure, and if the first mortgage is $400,000 and the property's only worth $350,000, the second lender won't foreclose. If the second lender forecloses, they now owe $400,000 that's still on the first. So what happens is the first trustee forecloses, if that makes sense, and ultimately they'll have a public auction. And the lender has a starting bid, a credit bid of the amount that's owed them, which is basically $400,000 plus late penalties, interest, foreclosure costs. So the opening bid might be $420,000. The lender has a credit bid for that amount. Anyone who wants to bid or buy at that public auction has to come up with cash, as in cashier's checks drawn on a California bank, basically payable to themselves. Which is why most of the time nobody bids at these auctions. The lender does have them. There's not very many good deals, by the way. You're just paying $420,000 for something that's worth $350,000. The lender does have the option, though, of starting the bid at a much lower price if they want to, and sometimes they do that. But again, if you want to bid on those, you have to come up with cash. I can tell you that it's going to affect your credit score like anywhere from probably 200 to 250 points. A short sale will affect your credit score like 150 to 200. So you're in trouble either way. It doesn't do our country any good to have all of these people that have been foreclosed on or doing short sales to have them out of the buying market for the next 7 years. So lenders are making kind of exceptions so that if there are extenuating circumstances on the foreclosure or extenuating circumstances on the short sale, you can get a qualified loan 3 years after a short sale. And on a VA, FHA, it could even possibly be 2 years. You kind of have to reestablish credit, have a good story as to what happened. After a foreclosure, it adds another year or two before you can get a what we call a conforming loan. If it's on the California Association of Realtor form, I feel very comfortable. The Department Association has a contract form. I feel very comfortable. When it's clearly self-created, you better go have an attorney look it over. And the biggest blunder is not having all of the inspections before you close the deal. The standard contract allows, it's contingent on the buyer's approval of a physical inspection, and it's also contingent on the buyer checking out school systems, checking out zoning, checking out this. That is homework that the buyer needs to do. I don't expect the buyer to know anything about permits. It's a very arcane, esoteric document. And that's why you need to hire a physical inspector, even if it's new construction, even if it's a condominium. You're investing $200,000, $300,000, $800,000. Physical inspectors, the price usually starts at $300 to $500. That's the biggest dumb blunder that anybody makes. And the other blunder is that oftentimes the physical inspector will note problems, he'll note red flags with plumbing, or they'll note red flags on the roof. And then he'll advise you should have this checked out by a qualified, certified roofer, or a qualified plumber, licensed plumber. And the buyer then goes, well, I'll do that after I close escrow. No, if the inspector says, hey, there's some red flags here, then go hire a plumber. This is money that's non-refundable to you if you decide not to go through with the purchase. But thank God you only spent $800 and didn't buy a $300,000, $400,000 house that's got a bunch of problems that you weren't expecting.